Am I the asshole for telling my father I have no interest in meeting his new family? I, 17, female, haven't had a relationship with my father since I was 8 years old. It broke me when my father left because it wasn't just him. I lost my aunts, uncles, cousins, and grandparents. They all stopped talking to me. I've been in therapy since I was 11, and I worked out a lot of my issues about my father. My mother remarried when I was 7, and I have a stepfather and 2 brothers I love very much. I'm applying to colleges and feel happier than I ever have. 3 weeks ago, I got a call from my father. He told me he was engaged and getting married in the fall. He wanted me to come to a reunion so they could get to know each other's family and I could get to know my new siblings. He said his fiancé wanted to meet his children before they got married. My father has 3 children, me, my brother, and my sister. I have a relationship with my sister, but we're not close because she lives far away. I hung up because I couldn't deal with it. I was emotional and bawled my eyes out. The next day, I called my father and told him I had no interest in meeting his new family, that he was cruel for abandoning an 8-year-old, even more cruel for reaching out because he was forced to do so, and that I already had a family I was happy and secure with. I told him I had no interest in him being in my life because he was no longer my father and to not contact me. I called my sister to ask if he reached out to her. He did, and she was going to go. I told her about the conversation, and she said what I said was appropriate because it was true, but I could have been nicer about it. I was a bit sad, but my family was there to comfort me. My sister sent me a link to a Facebook post that my new stepmother had shared, saying she couldn't believe that a perfect man could have such terrible children. My sister told me she was not going to the reunion because she agreed she didn't want to meet this woman after what she said about us. I thought that would be the end of it, and though that post upset me, I tried to let it go. But I started getting calls from my father's side of the family, even my brother, telling me I was a bitch and an asshole for ruining the reunion by telling my father he wasn't my father. They told me he canceled the whole thing and was questioning whether he should get married at all. They said I could have reached out and it wasn't fair they were being blamed for the falling out. I have since blocked them. I did see a post on Facebook saying my father postponed his wedding, but now I can't stop thinking about what they said. I mean, yes, I could have reached out, but I feel that's not fair, because I was 8. I shouldn't have to be the one that makes amends. I know that I was harsh and could have gone about telling him I didn't want him in my life in a nicer way, but I don't think I did anything wrong. Maybe that's because everybody around me is taking my side. I've had multiple people tell me I'm an asshole. I feel guilty, and I want an outside perspective. Am I the asshole? Edit. I just want to add some details. My sister is 23, and my brother is 28. My mother had nothing to do with my family cutting me out. 2 years ago, I called my father under the advice of my therapist. When he answered, I started crying, and he didn't say anything. He just hung up on me. I think that's when I really moved on from my father. Relevant comments. Therapy and brother relationship. Hello, thanks for your kind words. I am currently still in therapy, and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. I know that I need it, and it benefits me in more ways than one. I am my mother's only biological child. She has said that I should cut ties with my brother, and I have also been talking to my sister quite a bit today about what to do about our brother. We only share DNA from our father, the same as I do with my sister. She says that I need to cut ties with him completely as well, but at the same time, I do feel bad because he went through the same abandonment that I did. It's just that my father actually came back to him, whereas he didn't come back to me or my sister. As of right now, I haven't cut ties, not officially anyway, with my brother, but it does seem like that's where it's headed. What on earth did he tell his family when he stopped talking to you? I don't know what he told his family or his fiancé, but when I started building a relationship with my sister, he did tell my sister's mother that my mother had filed a restraining order against him, and that was the reason he couldn't be around me, which was 100% not true. I can assure you there was never a restraining order filed. My sister's mother figured that out, and when she talked to him about it, he admitted that he lied. About the timeline of her parents' marriage. My parents got divorced when I was 2 years old. For the next 5 years, I would go back and forth from my mother's to my father's house. Over the last 2 years that I had a relationship with my father, those visits went from every weekend to every other weekend to once a month to every other month, and then there was nothing from my father or any of his family. One day, they just stopped talking to me. About 3 months after my father had not come to pick me up for his annual visitation, my mother took me to his house and we found out that he had moved back to Mississippi, where his family was from. After that, we never talked again until I was around 12 and he called me to tell me happy birthday. He called me one more time the same year to say Merry Christmas. After that, I didn't hear from him again until 3 weeks ago when he called me. My father was such a jealous freak, to the point where he would be mad when my mother went to work. There was this man that my mother worked with, and he was super jealous of him. One day, he finally just accused her of cheating. She said she didn't cheat, and he didn't believe her, and he left. Then he came home the next day and admitted to having sex with another woman, and then they got divorced. About 2 years later, my mother started a new job, and she ended up dating her boss. They got married when I was 7, and now he's my stepfather. But I only hear my parents' side of the story. I've never heard my father's side of the story. He's never really thought it was important enough to tell me his side of the story. But that's what I know of the whole situation. I really don't know the true story because I was 2 when everything happened, and my father and I were never really close. He never told me important things about his life. We didn't talk much when I was with my father. I mostly spent the time with his boyfriend. Fathers messed up marriages. My siblings and I all have different mothers. My father has been married 4 times. If he does marry this woman, this will be his 5th marriage. I didn't even know of my sister's existence until I was 9 years old. My sister's mother reached out to my mother when she noticed that her daughter's child support had gone down because my father wasn't meeting his mandatory visitation rights and had to pay more child support towards me. The court told my sister's mother that he had 2 other children, and she reached out to my mother. We had dinner together. She also reached out to my brother's mother, but they had no interest in knowing my sister. I don't know if my father has other children. As far as I'm aware, he doesn't, but he lied to me and my brother about my sister, and he lied to my mother about the existence of my brother before she had me. So, honestly, who knows? I do know that his fiancé has children between the ages of, I believe, 3 to 19.
What the heck did he say to you on the phone? The way I remember the conversation going was him saying, "Hello, this is so-and-so. I just wanted to let you know that I'm having this family reunion because recently I got engaged and I'm going to be getting married in the fall. I was hoping that you would be interested in coming to the reunion. Your brother's going to be there as well as the rest of my family, and you can meet my fiancé and your new step-siblings." That's not exactly word for word, but that is the gist of the conversation. And no, he did not apologize. When I called him back the next day, he actually sounded quite mad that I hung up on him in the first place, and he said relatively the same thing, just in a harsh tone with fewer words. That's when I told him that I didn't want to meet his family. He called me about 40 times after I hung up, over the course of the next 2 days. Reddit verdict: not the asshole. Update 1. I've talked to my father and his fiancée. I told her everything about everything. Their wedding was off for 11 days, but now it's back on. She didn't really say much to me about it. She mostly just brushed past it. They want to come out here, where I live, and have dinner with me and my mother. My sister has also agreed to come to the dinner, but now he's talking about coming to stay with him for a little while, and I don't want to do that. I'm a little nervous about the whole thing now, and I just don't want to start another dance with my father that ends badly for me. Relevant comment. I don't plan on going to the wedding or any other events that include my father after the dinner. The only reason that I agreed to go to the dinner was because my sister asked me, not because he asked me. I don't have any interest in having a relationship with my father, but I do think that it would be healthy if I didn't have any hatred for my father. I don't want to be in this limbo where I just feel shitty for the rest of my life because I have hatred toward my father, and I felt like this was an easier way to just deal with it and move on and let it go. Update 2. I had dinner with my father, his fiancée, and her children on the 18th of May. I feel like I got a lot of childhood feelings off my chest. I explained to my father, his fiancée, and her family why I felt the way I did, as well as my reasoning for not wanting to come. I told him that I had no intentions of being in his life beyond the necessary amount.
My father did ask me quite a few times if I was going to be up to go to the wedding. I did agree to go, but I made it clear that I don't want to be involved as an official member in his life, more so someone he might see around the holidays, birthdays, or special events. But other than that, I have no intentions of seeing or interacting with him. He seemed fine with that, and it was a perfect solution for me. I've been told by many of you, as well as people in my personal life, that I should just cut him out of my life and move on. I just feel that having unresolved feelings is unhealthy. Not having answers to things that you could have answers to seems kind of ridiculous if you have the option to get the answers that you want. My relationship with my father is never going to be great. It's never going to be perfect. It's probably never going to be anything other than okay, because I don't really think I can see him as anything other than a deadbeat father. But I'm going to try my best to be civil because I don't want to have any more unresolved feelings with anybody else. I know that it's been over a month since my last update, but during that time, I finished my senior year with 4 Bs and 4 As. I turned 18 on the 21st of May. I graduated high school and started a new job. It's been a pretty busy month, and so honestly, I wasn't even nervous about talking to my father because I felt like it was just so busy that it was just another thing to do. But I'm glad it's over and done with, and I can move on with my life.
Write what you think about this situation. Who did the right thing, and who is the asshole? Let's discuss it in the comments. In the meantime, let's move on to the next story.
Am I the asshole for leaving my boyfriend's family reunion and ruining his sister's engagement announcement? For context, I, a 23-year-old female, have been dating my boyfriend, a 24-year-old male, for 2 years now. I will admit we have an on and off relationship. We dated during our high school years, but later broke up as we did not want to pursue a long-distance relationship when he headed off to California to pursue a scholarship. We later reconnected 4 years ago, and after 2 years, decided to retry our relationship. My boyfriend invited me to one of his family reunions. I only recall attending one during Thanksgiving when we were around 17 or 18 years old, and most of his family at the time enjoyed my presence, except for one person, his little sister, a 22-year-old female. My boyfriend told me that his little sister is very overprotective, and this trait grew stronger due to a previous ex. The ex and he only lasted 8 months, as the ex later announced that she forced herself into dating him and actually realized she was gay. I understood that and did not take much offense when the little sister would make snarky comments or glare at me. At the family reunion, I met her and her boyfriend. Her boyfriend seemed like a pleasant guy, a bit shy, but overall a nice person to be around. During the reunion, I got a call from one of my best friends. I asked to be excused and took the call. My best friend announced to me that he just found out his fiancé is expecting, and that he and his fiancé wanted to throw a little celebration, and asked if I could come next week. I was happy and said yes. I was still happy from the news and told my boyfriend. His sister overheard and made a snarky comment about how I was happy about a baby that was not even mine or his. I attempted to ignore it, but she kept making rude comments. We had dinner and sat down when his sister made a comment to the family about how I was bringing up another man more than my own boyfriend. Immediately, I got up, thanked his family for the food, and left. I know this was childish, but I did not want to stay there for long listening to her disrespect my friend and his fiancé. I later got a call from my boyfriend, and he asked if I could apologize to his sister, as during the family reunion, she wanted to announce her engagement to her fiancé, but due to my leaving, she felt embarrassed and upset that her moment was outshone. I told him that I refused to apologize, and that, if anything, she should apologize for the comments she made about my best friend. Am I the asshole? Reddit verdict: not the asshole. If she wanted to share such good news, then she should have been more excited to share it. It sounds like she wanted to start just enough drama to make you suffer or sit there and feel miserable, and then add insult to injury by getting engaged before you. It sounds like it backfired, sister. Comment: not the asshole. If you were ridiculous for being excited about a baby that was not yours, why should anyone be excited about someone else's engagement? She sounds insufferable. Comment: not the asshole. You politely removed yourself from the situation instead of responding to her. You cannot read minds and know she was about to make an announcement. She should have been happy to share her good news, but instead was focusing on making you feel bad. Comment: not the asshole. Your boyfriend should have shut down her attitude toward you. He did not, so you have every right to leave. Hell would have a better chance of freezing over than you giving his bratty sister an apology. You have been given a really good idea of what it will be like being around his family, particularly his younger sister. I would tell your boyfriend that his sister constantly disrespects you, and you want to know why he refuses to stand up for you and shut her down. If he is either unable or unwilling to have your back, then you cannot see a future with him. Responsibility for a breakup will rest squarely on the shoulders of him and his sister. I would give her a copy of the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Comment. Not the asshole. In situations like these, there are usually a few options. 1. Return the snark. In most situations, this is an asshole move. 2. Make a comment to the person in a measured, calm, rational manner in such a way that when you are done talking, it is a full-stop type of comment, and then you continue with your event. This is never an asshole move, but it is usually really hard to pull off. You have to have a Cyrano level of wit. 3. Ignore. This is also not an asshole move, but it gives the other person the tacit okay to keep verbally abusing you. I usually use this in certain situations where A, the event where I have to be around them is almost over or I will not be in close quarters with them, or B, it's someone I will not see again or see often. 4. Leave. This can be an asshole move depending on how it is executed. A polite, "Thank you, I had a pleasant time," and then leave. Not an asshole move. Throw a table or make a scene and storm out. That is an asshole move. Your boyfriend's sister sounds way too immature. Just think of the histrionics when she announces a pregnancy and people don't immediately start gushing, being all happy, and telling everyone. She'll understand why you were happy when she's in that situation, but unless she has matured and has some emotional intelligence and self-awareness, I doubt it. What do you think about this situation? Who do you think is a jerk, and who did the right thing? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to the channel to get more cool and interesting stories. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.